the week has been so far?
Excellent.
Too good, sir.
Just a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to share the presentation. I think going live and presentation sometimes it has some issue.
It's already live.
Yeah, I downloaded the presentation. I can't see. Okay,
Good morning.
you can see the screen.
Yes. So today we will briefly talk about spirituality as part of the spirituality week. Um, so next slide. Yes. So what is spirituality? I think this is something people can define. People can think in so many different ways. So as mentioned, some of the definitions here. Spirituality is knowing who you really are and connecting with something larger than yourself. It's also willingness to follow the spirit, align with the truth, and strive to become embodiment of all the higher virtues. Spirituality is following one's spirit. The person searches and transcends the meaning and purpose of life. A personal relationship between the individual and the higher being or higher force, higher energy. It's a pathway from smallness to greatness. It's a method to attain permanent happiness. Its capability and dignity to do much greater than what we know. So it establishes best qualities in every aspect of our life. So these are all some of the definitions of spirituality. So I'm sure each one of us have our own way of understanding this, way of practicing this. So one of the definitions is one of the ways of in this scientific age is to understand the design and architecture of the self and the universe, because everything whatever one has in life, it has it has been created by most of them are human beings, and everything is by nature. So whatever is created by us, we know that it has its own design. But what is created by nature, it's not so clear. Okay, if you understand that, that may become a little bit clear. So what are some myths about the spirituality? So spirituality doesn't mean that you are vegetarian or you don't take alcohol, you become spiritual. Nothing like that. So spirituality is nothing to do with what you eat, what you drink, or when you get up. Or if you are in spirituality, it doesn't mean that you are always happy and peaceful. You can change your characteristics depending upon the need. If you're even if you're spiritual, because you need to get the things done. So once you are in spiritual, you have to be aloof and alone and mystical. No, not necessary. There are so many people who are spiritual and they are fully involved in life and very active in life, day-to-day life. So whether you need to necessarily follow some god, necessarily follow a guru, not necessary. So Should it be minimalistic life? Will it be boring life? No, not necessary. You can be spiritual, still you can be rich. So these are all some of the misconceptions on the spirituality. So spirituality doesn't mean any of these limited views of whatever we think about. So the spiritual journey involves first healing and affirming the ego so that positive states are experienced. That is, first and foremost. So there are so many limitations within us. One being ego, and there are other things like whether it is anger, whether it is pride, whether it is uh, uh, aloofness, whatever the limiting ones, whatever restricts you, we have to remove that. With secure self-esteem, belief in self-worth, and a capacity for love and generosity, a person becomes less constrained by ego. So basically, ego is the topmost one. If you can have handle on the ego, then it's relatively easy to get into the overall spirituality. Why spirituality? We'll talk about why spirituality. We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. That's Dalai Lama was saying. So one of the ways to really achieve spirituality is forgiveness. In fact, there are some of the universal values or universal characteristics we try to follow here in this forum. One of them is forgiveness, and gratitude is another one. So there are so many such things out there. You can pick up any one of them. It is not necessary that every one of them to be done parallelly. Once you start with one, other things fall in place. So one theme for us could be the forgiveness. So letting go of blame is not easy, but the rewards are really many once you do that. So practice of forgiveness is something we can really start looking at in deep and start practicing, which anyway we are doing as part of the daily ritual. So forgiveness is for you and not for anyone else. So forgiving others is not helping others, it is helping you. So it releases so much of negativity, it releases so much of energy to be utilized for your positive aspect, to be utilized for your spirituality. So let's keep this forgiveness as the theme for us to really practice and generate the energy required and really get into the spiritual aspects. So why spirituality? So spirituality, the spiritual people are gracious. In addition to whatever myths we thought about, that they may not be not necessarily vegetarians, not necessarily not taking the alcohol, but that doesn't matter. What matters is they are gracious, their optimism, they are generous with their time and resources, they have overall vitality. Spiritual people are compassionate, so they have very compassionate approach towards everything and every human being or every being to that matter. They are very empathetic. Spiritual people flourish. So whatever they take up, they really do it well and they prosper in life as well. So when you take spirituality, doesn't mean that you have to necessarily go to some Himalaya or to the forest. In the life, you can prosper. You can become really big in whatever you are doing. Spiritual people are self-actualized. They have better life, better personal growth, better fulfillment, internal values, better individuals overall. Spiritual people take time to savor life experiences. So they really like and savor the life experiences. They don't avoid anything. So they reflect on their daily activities, which we also do it here, building long lasting memory of their experiences. They really recollect their memories, conscious of small daily activities, experience positive emotions associated with the smaller pleasures in life. So it is not necessarily all the big grand things. Even in small things we can achieve the spirituality, and the people with spirituality like everything small or big. The spirituality I can also describe from A to Z. It's altruistic, beautiful, calm, daring, energetic, fearless, glorious. We can go on. So it has so many such great qualities. So hence, it is it is really attractive and it is very good for us to really get into spirituality. This we have seen, yeah. So how do we get into spirituality? I think there are many ways of getting into spirituality. One is top down, understanding how the whole universe is designed, how it is architected, how the human being, came into existence, how the human being is architected and designed. So that is one way of looking at it. That is a top down. So understand the big picture and then try to follow the spirituality. The other one is bottom up. Bottom up is follow some of the universal values or universal characteristics, however small, however less it is. Start with that, then slowly things will fall in place, and then you really get into the spirituality as such. So one has to be open, honest, enthusiastic, meditative, and scientific, and do your work appropriately. You can do, of course, yoga and prayer. So these are all some of the simple and straightforward, realistic ways. So one of them is meditation. Of course, we do that on a daily basis. So if you are truly in it, and you do that more often, definitely you can get into that. Of course, you can read the spiritual reading and understand a lot of things about what is spirituality, how it is practiced, why it is done. Gratitude, which again we are practicing. So even if you are full of gratitude in everything, even that will lead you to the full-fledged spirituality. Spend time in nature. Obviously, your body, mind, and spirit really, becomes very dynamic, very happy, and it allows you to really get into the spiritual realms. Be open to signs from the universe. Mindful breathing, obviously, breathing is the essence of the life. So if you really do the mindful breathing, everything else falls in place. Embrace your feelings, whether it is good one or uncomfortable ones. Tune out the noise. Some of the noises coming in life, whether it is the disturbances, whether it is the bad things, whether it is bad emotions, negative emotions, try to tune them out. Also make spirituality a fun. So that's most important. If you take it up very seriously, it is very difficult to really achieve that. Of course, the religious practices, whatever the religion you practice, look at the essence of the religious practices and then understand and practice it. It will help. And of course, helping others, and most importantly, forgiveness. So we'll try to follow the forgiveness as well. Yeah, next slide. So forgiveness for us, spirituality, the power of forgiveness, we all practically also know when we really do this forgiveness on a daily basis. So forgiving not only others, forgiving yourself, that is most important, because we are very strict on ourselves in terms of, oh, I didn't do that, I did that, no, I'm not good. So forgive ourselves, that is most important. So if possible, reconcile with the other person or with the Almighty or the universal power, universal energy. It can be powerful from, it can be health, it can give health benefits as well, because once you release that grudge and forgive yourself, forgive others, your body becomes much more, happy and much more energetic. So it's also associated with lower levels of depression, anxiety, and hostility. If forgiveness is not practiced, it can lead to all these things. So it will not have higher self-esteem if you don't do the forgiveness. So forgiving that will create, remove all this negativity, depression, anxiety, hostility, lack of self-esteem, all those things. So there are two sides of forgiveness, which Roy sir might have talked at some point in time: decisional and emotional. So decisional forgiveness involves a conscious choice to replace ill will with goodwill. You no longer wish bad things to happen to that individual. So that is decisional. So let's say you are angry with somebody, you don't curse, you don't really wish something bad for that person, but you decide to wish for good. So that is a decision you can make. So that is a decisional forgiveness. The emotional forgiveness is you have to move away from the negative feelings related to wrongdoing. Somebody did something wrong to you. So you have to release that emotion. So this often happens when you think about the offender or something triggers the memory, or you will suffer from the adverse consequences of action. So whenever you remember that particular act, that particular time, you immediately triggers no very bad emotion in you. So that is because it is ingrained in your emotion. So that has to be removed emotionally. So the decisional forgiveness is you decide that no, I don't want to do something bad or think bad about others. The emotional forgiveness is whatever already happened and it is ingrained in your emotion, that negativity, removing that one. Emotional forgiveness is much more harder and it takes longer, as it is common for the feelings to return on a regular basis. So that can be released. There are many practices actually. There are many practices which can be used to release the emotional aspect of the things what happened bad and release, create the forgiveness. And of course, we do in 5am Club also to release that. And there are some specific techniques as well which you can learn. So let's keep this forgiveness as the way of getting started with spirituality or enhancing the spirituality which you already have. Moving on. Okay, so there is always no lot of confusion between religion and spirituality. But broadly, we also know that religion is more closed, even though religion is the major way of really achieving spirituality. That is how it was originally designed. But over a period, there are contamination. There were changes for no benefit of some people. So now we need to understand that originally religion was designed for reaching spirituality, but there are some changes which we need to really remove them. So spirituality is belief in the divine. No, it's with us always. Religion is believing on a superhuman being or a creator or a god kind of thing. But spirituality goes much beyond that. So spirituality is based on the personal beliefs and value system, whereas religion is based on the distilled beliefs and wisdoms of the great people in the past, which are supposed to be good, but sometimes it is misleading. So spirituality says the God is inside. Religion probably says no, there is a separate God outside. Um, in spirituality, people's inherent goodness is appreciated, but religion probably talks more about the sinfulness and the bad qualities and how to remove it. So it is one way is positive, strength based. The other one is weakness based. So spiritual development is the focus in spirituality, whereas in religion, worship is started, but for right reasons, the worships were started, but it can be misleading because in terms of people, there are different kinds of people. One set of people who are okay to, particularly more emotional, they are okay to go with the worship or the bhakti way of getting into spirituality. The people who are active more in the mind, it may not suit for them, the worshipping or the bhakti marga. So they may want to look at their mind and understand spirituality in a much better way. So in fact, broadly, there are these two ways can be explained using, one is called monkey approach, the other is called cat approach. So the baby, the cat baby or the kitten, if the cat wants to take the kitten away, what it does is kitten always just lies down. It doesn't do anything at all. Just it dedicates itself. It surrenders to the mother. And then the cat carries the kitten wherever she wants to carry. Right? That is the bhakti marga. You just surrender to the universal energy and the universal energy takes care of you. You don't need to do anything. Of course, you have to do your own things, breathing, your own actions and all those things. But in this case, the mother cat, really takes the kitten wherever it wants to take. Whereas in case of monkey, what happens is the monkey's baby, it catches the monkey mother tightly, and then the mother monkey doesn't bother about holding the baby. It just focuses on moving wherever she wants to move. Okay, so this is more philosophical approach, more using the mind, right? So these are the two approaches, cat approach and monkey approach. Okay, so this is very interesting. There are in some of the philosophies, in some of the spiritual traditions, this is what is defined. There are only three things which are eternal, which always exist. One is the universal energy. Some people call it as God, doesn't matter, but we can call it as universal energy or unique energy. So there is only one universal energy in the whole universe. So it has the complete wisdom and it is animate life energy. The other one is spirit. The spirit is what each one of us have. So each one of us, not only the human beings, animals, plants, and everything else, whichever is the living thing has its own spirit. So that spirit is there all over the universe. This has very limited wisdom. Of course, there is a hierarchy where the plants have low with knowledge, then animals have a little bit more, and humans have maximum knowledge, and but limited wisdom, not like the universal energy. So how many spirits are there in the universe? We don't know. Many, there are so many. So for the simplicity, we say there are infinite number of spirits. So the spirits are always there. So today, the spirit is within me in this body, in this shape. But once my body goes off after it's aged or whatever the reason, then the spirit gets released with the universal energy. Again, it can get into some other form and shape. And there are certain things called affections, which affects the spirit, which are basically three things: ego, force of action or the karma, and illusion or called maya. So these are the three affections which are always there. So this doesn't have wisdom. It is inanimate. It is not animate. So there are only two animate things in the universe. One is the universal energy. Second is all the spirits. So everything else, our body and our various senses, all those things are inanimate. Only because of the animated energy and the spiritual energy, the universal energy, the things start working. So this is very interesting to really understand. Okay, right. So let's look at kind of what is the design and architecture of your human being from a particular philosophical point of view. So there is a universal energy. So that energy is transformed into multiple levels of energy for creating the world, creating the human beings, creating the beings in general. So that is called pure vision. So the universal energy comes into different ways. One is as a sound, as a light and energy, as an intermediate energy, as a solid energy, and as a pure intelligence. These are all the various ways in which the universal energy gets transformed to make the world and the beings to come alive. And then the spirit, which is also eternal, the pure energy, the universal energy is eternal, and the spirit is eternal. The spirit comes into picture. The spirit can come into action only with all these contents, which is time. Time is created by the universal energy, and the being's content, what and all that being is going to do, and awakening, intelligence, desire, and inner being. So these are all the components of the spirit. So then there is a realistic, a rather unrealistic vision, which is basically your the affections, what we talked about. So those affections come into picture, which is basic nature, basic properties, which is basically in Sanskrit it is called sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So that is, I put it as light, active, and inert. So these are the three different properties. So everything comes into picture based on the combination of these three properties: intellect and ego. So these are all the realistic visions. So once these three components come into picture, then your intelligent body, active body, and dynamic body gets formed. So this is for the human being, and same thing is applicable for any being, whether it is animal or plant in a different, slightly different modified way. So this architecture is, this design is for human being. So the intelligent body is consisting of the six things: mind, body, sense, mouth, eyes, nose, and ears. So basically the six senses. So five senses plus the mind, six senses, that is the intelligent body. And the active body is the actions, what you really do, word or speech, legs to move, hands to move, excretory organs, and sexual organs. So these are the active bodies. And then the dynamic body, which involves sound, feeling, vision, taste, smell, and also this Panchabhutas, which gets created: space, air, fire, water, and earth. So these are the 36 different components with which the whole human being gets created from the universal energy. So this is one such design or philosophy. No, some great people came out with, and like this, every great spiritual tradition, every great religion has their own way of explaining how the universe operates and how the human being came into picture. So it is good to know about it. We may not understand this 100%, but it's good to get started with the understanding. So that's what I wanted to show it you here. One such example. Like this, there are hundreds, I can say. So yeah, with this, let me stop. So basically what we can do practically is get started with some of the universal values, universal characteristics. Forgiveness is one such thing. So we can focus on forgiveness, gratitude, and then really go in a small step, bottom-up approach. So what I explained is top-down, understanding the whole design of the universe and the human being, and then understand the spirituality. In the bottom up, we can start following the simple things like forgiveness and gratitude, and then move towards the spirituality. So with that, I complete the presentation. So open for question and answers.
Wow, this is so deep. This is getting deeper and deeper the more we know about it. Excellent. Thank you, Ramaji. It was a bioscopic view, I can say. Right. And I'm sure there will be a lot of questions, and if there are no questions, then we understood which level we are in. Oh, we are in grade 1.
I'm also with
Yes,
you.
Ajay.
More of nursery, not even grade 1.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, there's so many things we learn, and still we have so many things to learn. Yeah, go ahead, Jagdish. Lynn.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ramazar. So wonderful session. For me, it's like I thought that my spirituality level is very low, but after your session, I was feeling so good. I feel that my spirituality level also somewhat in basic. That was happy to hear that one. Just I want to know more about that. You told about this monkey and then cat method, right? Just I want to know a bit more about that, sir. Can you please explain that
Yeah,
one?
yeah. Sure, sure. So basically, two methods. One is surrendering to the universal energy, which is also called Bhakti Marga, right? So you follow the universal energy can be looked at in different ways. One is purely as the energy, you can look at it, or you can look at as different forms of your own religious personalities or religious gods or gurus, right? So once you get that into your practice or mind, then you can dedicate yourself. So the universal energy understands, and it listens to you. So there you don't need to really try to understand the whole thing, whole complexity of life and everything else. Just focus on that particular form or energy, and then you will get a lot of clarity in life, a lot of peace, a lot of energy in life. So that is the cat way of doing the things, which is typically called bhakti marga, right?
Okay.
The other one is monkey marga, in the sense you need to understand, you have to put in effort, understanding how the whole thing come into. So that is, you can also say that is the top down, where you understand the whole thing, how the universe works, how the individual self works, how the people interact, and why certain things happen. So you try to understand that more scientifically. Actually, whatever the various people, the religions or the spiritual traditions, they all really came out with much higher science. I would call higher science. They have been very, very scientific. It's only that people don't understand and they misinterpret and misconstrue what they said. Otherwise, it is all very, very scientific. Like, for example, what I explained about the architecture of a human being. So try to understand, then you know if the human being is structured like this. If I do this, then I can really connect with the universal energy, and then I become really spiritual. So that is the monkey marga. So it is, you can say it is a philosophical approach. The other one is surrender or the bhakti approach.
Okay,
Does
sir.
it give
Thank you.
some direction? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So it was a nice session. The core of the session I felt was to give forgiveness and let it go. So, in your slide there is a called emotional forgiveness. So it keeps on coming again and again, even if we let it go and even if we write it down, and even those emotions, it keeps on coming. How to deal with this emotional forgiveness?
Yeah, so the pent up emotions, including the forgiveness part of it and many other emotions, there are very good psychological tools to really remove them. One such tool is called discretion, which I learned recently, which I can talk to you and explain at some point in time, or practice. I can show you that practice at some point in time. It doesn't take much time, just 5 minutes you can do that. There is another technique called emotional freedom technique, EFT, right? That is another really effective method. It releases your pent up emotions, including the forgiveness part of it. So I know these two techniques, which I can practice. I do practice, and I can teach you the practice as well, these two. I don't think we can do that in this session, but one of the sessions I will do it, both the practices. And there are more, much more. These are the two I know.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much.
Ramasan, this is Ravi. Excellent session. Thank you so much. You mentioned about the how to take it, spirituality through fun session. So can you please elaborate on that? Yeah, please. It will be very useful.
Yeah, sure. See, in fact, if you look at your typical religious approach, the fun is ingrained. So that is why all this, festivals, celebrations, dancing, music, right? So it's all already there in place. So that's what I refer to, Ravi sir. It's nothing new. It's all we are already doing it.
Yeah. The bhakti.
Yes. It's really a fun. Yeah.
The bhakti way.
Yeah. Typically bhakti marga.
Yeah, bhakti marg through dancing, singing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very, very nice and exhilarating. If you participate in that, you will know that fun involved in it.
So we submit ours through
yes,
dancing, Bharatanatyam, and all those things.
Whatever. Yeah. So there is no constraint. There is no rules and regulations. You can do whatever you want.
It is total bliss.
Yes.
It appeals to the mind also, singing and dancing.
Yes, it appeals to your mind, body, and spirit, and emotions, everything.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much.
Rashi, you are on mute. Are you talking? Can you unmute? Yeah, now you can.
Oh, you have to close one device. In the meantime, can I ask one question?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Chandrij.
Acha, let
Okay,
us. Okay,
she's
Sakshi,
back.
please.
Rashi
Yeah.
is back. Yeah.
Sakshi.
Sakshi. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's because I'm using my daughter's laptop. So it's obvious that Rashi comes on the screen. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Ramasa, what I was saying is every time when you give these kind of sessions, it always adds to our knowledge, something which we have already read or heard about, but it sort of clarifies everything. It gives more insights, more vision into it. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, now one of my concern is already attended what Jagdishji asked about this decisional forgiveness and emotional forgiveness. Yes, I would also like to know, even I have the same opinion that, okay, consciously you made a decision that you've forgiven somebody, but sometimes you recollect some instances or you face certain experiences, and then you again, you feel regretful, remorseful, and you recollect basically, and then emotionally you get a little disturbed. So I would also like to know those techniques where once and for all you emotionally also forgiven and you have no even smallest of hard feeling or bad taste about that person or that incident. So whenever we have that kind of session, I would love to be part of it. And then secondly, what my concern is, I consider myself a very spiritual person, but what happens, at times it hampers your day-to-day activities or your zest for life, because you feel, okay, there is a reason for somebody behaving certain manner, or there is a reason for all these things happening. So I just want to know how to attain a balance where you are spiritual, at the same time you are aggressive, enthusiastic, and you are able to succeed in life. Sometimes you give priority to others, the things what are happening, and then you sort of neglect yourself. So how to attain the balance where you are being spiritual yet being practical as well? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Sakshi. So the first one is there are so many tools and techniques and practices with which we can really remove all those remorse and everything else, all the negativities. So it is not you do it once and it is done. No, it is not, because we are human beings. There is the need for doing it every day. So you do the housekeeping every day, right? So you don't really do one day and think that everything is done. No, it has to be done on a regular basis, right? So it is not only the tools and techniques, it is also the practices what you follow and your mindset as such. So depending upon that, it can get cleared on your day-to-day basis. So that's what it is. And definitely I will talk about, I will teach this practice of emotional freedom technique and the discretion. Discretion is very short. Emotional freedom technique is a little bit bigger. So one of the days we'll schedule and do that. That is the first part. The second part, there is nothing like spiritual and non-spiritual. Everything is in the universe is spiritual. It's only that our way of understanding, how much effort we put in understanding the things the way it is. Many a times what happens is our own background, our own brought up, our own beliefs, our own prejudices limits our understanding of what the things happen and why the things happen, right? So if you can really spend some energy and time in expanding your horizon of understanding, then you can handle it easily. So see, the problem is there is a limited understanding, there is a limited view. That's the problem. Once you enhance your understanding, once you look at the things in multiple viewpoints, then handling whatever the conflict, whatever the challenges in life becomes relatively easier. So that's what being spiritual. So being spiritual is nothing but making things simple for yourself and others, not only for yourself, for others as well, right? So it's basically how do you improve your overall understanding of yourself, the whole nature as such, and the interactions among various people and things. So it's that is what it is. So how do you do that? One is simple practices. Another is reading. Another is talking to the people who really achieved those kind of practices and those kind of wisdom. So these are all the various possibilities, Sakshi.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Rama sir,
Yes.
in,
Chandra.
in one of the slides, you said that it is a myth that to be spiritual, the alcohol and the eating habit is not there. But don't you think it's so contradictory? How can a drunkard be spiritual?
Oh yeah, the many drunkards are very spiritual. In fact, my theory is that the drunkards are the more spiritual. Actually, the problem is they want to be spiritual and they don't know the right way of going into the universal spiritual approach. Hence, they take it for drinking. Their longing for spirituality is much more than many of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only that I'm not saying that drinking is good, not at all. It's not good for health, and obviously it will not be good for spiritual. What I mean is that let's not bucket it. Let's not say that only when somebody is eating vegetarian, not drinking, and following some specific religious practices, only they are spiritual. Nothing like that. Everybody can be spiritual. Everybody is spiritual, right? So, but if you ask whether it is healthy, then definitely it is not healthy, Samaji. That everybody understands. So the idea is to remove that kind of boxed approach, saying that people are spiritual only when you do this. That is what I mean, not otherwise.
Well, my take to spirituality is the understanding of spirit, the spirit around us, the energy or spirit, as somebody defines it. And just adding to what Sakshi was asking, Sakshi, knowledge is something to know the thing exactly it is.
Yeah.
The problem is we all have so many. We know things around us with our perception eye, not with the knowledge eye. And then we start building the world around it. So this is one of the take I have. Thanks, Rama sir. It's great.
Yeah, thank you, Sure.
Sir, Rama sir, actually, like for the past 6 months once or 3 months once, like I am getting more stressed, and then I'm thinking too much. Then I'm not able to sleep. Like even in sleep, I'm not getting proper sleep. Something, and then I am whatever happening around me, I'm taking it in a negative perspective, and whatever happens, I take it in a wrong way. I'm not able to understand it properly. I'm facing this kind of issues daily. Recently, for the past 2 weeks, like how to overcome this. Hello. Hello, sir.
1 minute. I think internet issues.
Yeah, sorry, Selva, I got dropped. I'm back now.
So, like, can you able to hear me right now?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I'm getting over stressed. I'm overthinking a lot. Then whatever happens around me, I'm taking everything in a negative perspective. Like I'm taking it in a wrong perspective. Like it's happened. And then whatever happening, I'm trying to, I always take it in a negative way. Something, I don't know, I'm not able to understand what is really happening around me. And then I'm not able to understand what's the true, what's the, why it is happening to me. I don't know. Like I'm whatever happening to me, I'm thinking in a negative manner, and I'm instead of understanding it, I'm like distressing myself, and I am self destruction. Something I'm going on.
Yeah, Selva, yeah, thanks for asking that question. I think many of us go through that kind of thing at various point in time. So if you want to understand what are the reasons, I think you could really, if you can, first thing is, how do you really come out of the situation? Second, what are the reasons why it is happening? So the reasons could be because of your ego, because of your narrow view, because of your misunderstanding of things, what is happening to you in life, right? So those are all the various possible reasons. But you may not be able to reason out when you are in that situation. So you have to some way divert your attention to the good things and then gain balance. So today, once you are in the negative loop, it will keep on taking you into negative loop, in a spiral way. So you have to just come out of that negative loop and see what are the ways of escaping that negative loop. So there are many ways. One could be practical approach could be if you have very good and enthusiastic friends. So try to keep in touch with the friends and try to look at the life in a different way. You can also another effective way is just take off from what you are doing and go and visit some natural places. You visiting the beach, visiting the mountain, visiting the forest really will release you from that. So main thing is you have to just come out of your current, make little bit detour, little bit change to life style and the life schedule. See, every day you follow a certain schedule, make certain changes to the schedule, right? So then go and attend some good functions, good some celebration. So it changes your mood, it changes your approach. So these are all some of the practical possibilities, Selvas. Quite a little bit diversion from your regular the negative loop which is going on right now. Or you can go and play a game. If you like certain game, you can go and play. Or you can take a book which you like and read it, right? So these are all the various ways of coming out of that loop, negative loop. So first thing is, I think, talk to somebody, either the friend or some person with wisdom. They will be able to really guide you. So in fact, if you want, I can also talk to you one-on-one and see what else we can do.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Leena ji. Suja.
Yes, Rama sir, good morning, everyone. It was a nice session. Spirituality is really connecting with oneself and to the universe, right, sir?
Yes.
And I also want to know, which, the book you referred for, it's a nice diagrams you were showing.
Okay.
Are you using some books or?
Yes. Yeah, not we have books and lectures. So the architecture which I showed about the human beings architecture, is from a particular spiritual tradition called Saiva Siddhanta. Saiva Siddhanta.
Oh, it's Veda, right?
Yeah.
Okay, nice to know.
So see, in Indian spiritual tradition, there are 6 approaches, 6 major philosophies of life, right? One of them is Vedic.
Okay.
There are 5 more,
Uh-huh.
right? So this is, I'm not sure whether it is. Yeah, it is. It could also be from Veda, also similar. Yeah, it is slightly different.
Yeah. So yesterday you were telling about Jainism, right? Like, I thought it's part of Christianity, right?
No,
Judaism.
Now, in India, there are actually there are 10 broader level philosophies, right? 6 of them are based on all this Veda and all those things. Not all 10, only 2 of them. The remaining 4 are independent, and there are 4 more, which is Buddhism, Jainism, and there are 2 more. So Jainism is one of the oldest spiritual tradition in India, started in India. Mahavir is one of the person who realized the whole thing. Mahavir and Buddha were there in similar time in the same, they were contemporaries. So Buddha came out with the Buddhism, and Mahavira has formalized everything in Jainism. Jainism was much, much older than Mahavira himself, but he has really collected everything, and he has really made it much more better. So India is land of this place where you get all possible philosophies and spiritualities and religions. So it's a amazing place. Everything evolved here.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, it was great in-depth insight into the spirituality, actually.
Thank you.
Can I?
Yes, please.
Good morning, everyone. Excellent presentation, Rama sir. And I have a same question. I want to know one of the way to forgive emotionally. And you mentioned one of the way EFT. What does that mean?
EFT means emotional freedom technique. What it does?
Emotional freedom technique. Okay.
Yeah, emotional freedom technique. You can also learn from. There are a lot of material on that. So it tries to basically release your pent-up emotions, whether it is bad feeling about others or any other hurt feeling, anything, whatever the negative emotions which is pent up in your system can be released.
Okay. And there are other techniques also, no?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'll also want to join that session.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So I think we have again somewhat on time. So let me just stop the Facebook Live.